Hello, welcome to the new video, and in today's video we're gonna take a look at Electivire. This Pokemon got a double buff, like it got buffed with both Ice Punch as well as Thunder Shock doing more damage, putting it all the way up to a rank 50 on PV Poke. And here for the first battle, they had a little bit of lag, and I should have definitely went into my Drapion instead, but we see here one weakness of this Pokemon and also the benefit of this Pokemon. It is quite spammy. It is very spammy, but also it is insanely frail, and I went 5-0 with this Pokemon. Like, this was quite a decent team. I got this from Dracoverse, and today we're gonna take a look into this team on how to play it, and it's quite an easy team to play and copy for you as well. So, we're going to have Superior in the lead. Horrible lead for us, so we're going to swap out into our Drapion. Drapion is every single time our Say-Swap. We don't want to run any other Pokemon other than like Drapion. So, why do we want to run Drapion? Well, I usually like to have teams that basically have coverage on the Say-Swap as the same basically as in the lead. We kinda have it here. Even though it's not really showcased, we kinda have it here. The reason for this is we're going to have the charge move of Awkward Tail. Awkward Tail is going to do one thing similar to the grass type moves of Superior, and this is hitting ground type Pokemon for super effective damage. And this is exactly what we want to do, because guess what? We have a quite a big weakness here of ground type attacks on our electric Pokemon in the back, and as we don't have the bulk to really survive any of those moves, we kinda have to try to get rid of those ground type Pokemon before they even reach my Electivire. And this is basically the big secret behind running this Pokemon. While the moveset itself, being like having ice as well as electric type coverage, kinda looks like a really good Say-Swap, I don't think it's going to be a great Say-Swap, mainly because of the weakness to the ground typing. And so I rather think this Pokemon kinda is the best kind of closer in the current meta, doing so much damage against basically everything, and now even having fast move down potential with Thunder Shock, which is kinda cool. And as you're gonna see here already against the opponent's Ariadas. Oh no, it's going to be just a neutral Ice Punch against a bulky Pokemon. See ya later. I don't care about this. This Pokemon just does insane amount of damage. And let me tell you, we're going to see quite a lot of good damage from this thing here today. Anyway, we're going to see here in this battle the Azumarill in the lead. You could do certain things here. We usually want to go for one Frenzy Plant. If they use a shield, stay in. Here in this case, we're going to swap out because they go ahead and go into their Toxapex. And oh yeah, speaking of a lot of damage, yes, it's super effective, but have you seen the Toxapex one-shot a lot of times? I did never really see, I think, a Toxapex one-shot before. Yeah, this is game over. Goodbye, opponent. I don't know what you're trying to do with a triple water team, but it's clearly not working out, so maybe try to do something different there. But yeah, basically, like seriously, like if your triple water team is double weak to grass, and one Pokemon is like literally double weak to it, and one is just singular weak to it, it's not really the best team that you can run, I have to say. Like, you could maybe try to change a little bit and put Toxapex in the lead, Say-Swap Azumarill, and have the Gaston in the back. This would make maybe a little bit more sense, just as a hint. But yeah, this team is not gonna work out for them at all, and the wild shot damage is ridiculous. Like, that you're able to basically one-shot something like a Toxapex is mad, because Toxapex is one of the bulkiest Pokemon ever for Pokemon Go PvP. There's like super effective Earthquakes and whatever. Never really one-shot them, usually just half of the health of the Pokemon there, but here a Wild Charge just completely nukes them away, which is ridiculous. So, next opponent, we're going to have a Charger Bug in the lead. How do you want to play this? We want to swap out of here. If they stay in, you're going to try to go straight for the Crunch. If they go into the Starmie, you can also go for a Crunch, because why did they go for a Starmie here? And I think they also kind of realized like later on it was like, yeah, maybe not the smartest idea that I've ever had, but it's going to be okay, because exactly here is what's going to be happening here. We're going to get out the Ground type Pokemon, which is a bit better for me, of course, or like better for the opponent to have the Ground type here instead of their Starmie. That was definitely a mistake from the opponent, so yeah, that happens to everyone, as we see in the first battle I had. I still won the first battle, I think, but yeah, misclick is misclick, happens. And we're gonna see here the Charger Bug coming in here. We can swap out into our Electivire, and yeah, we're going to use a shield here. And I was a bit confused here, because they actually got to this move a little bit faster than I expected, and so I'm a bit in a difficult spot now. I can go for 3 more false moves, getting all the way up to 99 energy, allowing me to go for a big Wild Charge, and I can still go for another false move afterwards, allowing me to even get a little bit extra energy before I hit another Wild Charge. This is resisted onto Pokemon with a lot of bulk, and still completely puts them into the deep red health there, which is just ridiculous. Like, come on. Like, this Pokemon is just so hard hitting. It's ridiculous on how much damage this has. I feel like it's actually the Pokemon that I've played recently with the most amount of damage that I've seen so far. Yes, Morpeko has a lot of damage output, but Morpeko only really does it after the boost from its charge move. And Electivire, yeah, has basically 0 bulk and all of the attack, and it's just showing there. Wild Charge Thundershock is just a ridiculous combination, especially now together with the Ice Punch being buffed. This is wild. Something I actually haven't done yet, but I will do most likely towards the end of this week, is gonna take a look at the Ultra League. There are quite a few Pokemon that got buffed as well there. I just want to see real quick where the Electivire there as well is. It's only at rank 79, so it didn't get as big of a boost, but I feel like even for the Master League, this Pokemon has some potential now, as the coverage is just so great for this thing. And Electivire is there actually on the rank 127. For the Premier Cup, I feel like this Pokemon is something that you want to have for the Master League. Here we're going to see Sandslash. This is going to be a very difficult matchup here, and I have to say, this matchup comes down to quite a few things, I would say. One thing is the CMP tie. I was not sure if Drapion or Sandslash is going to be able to win the CMP tie here. CMP tie is going to be very important because I saw button onto the Zoom roll, catching the move. Fine by me, because I have to basically get some damage onto them as well before I go for the Frenzy Plant here, because Frenzy Plant is not going to be enough damage otherwise. Here I can now overfarm a lot as well, which is going to be important to get to another Frenzy Plant against the opponent. But yeah, let me know, what do you think at this point? Who wins CMP tie, Drapion or the Sandslash? I can say already it is very close. The difference is a 1.9 attack point between those, and that is definitely not a lot, and it is luckily in favor for ours. If the opponent has a bit of an attack investment, they're definitely going to be able to, yeah, do more attack than we have there, and would be able to win the CMP tie, but yeah, they didn't, and that's definitely good for us. Next up, Jumpluff in the lead, and they make a great catch here onto the Dunsparce. Dunsparce is an awkward matchup for themselves. Like, it's an awkward matchup. The opponent has a bit of luck there, being able to basically even get the free fast move in there. Of course, also just well swapped out, I guess. But as you will see here, Drapion is going to be able to go ahead and go for another charge move. That's going to be very important. It's going to be now the crunch coming through, and we're going to get the debuff here. And the debuff is going to literally allow us to realign ourselves, which is going to be very good, but it's not going to allow us to win the battle yet. And here we're going to see the one weakness of this team a little bit as well. It's kind of counter users like Annihilate. The thing is, we don't have infinite bulk on this team. We have one bulky Pokemon here and our Elite of Superior. The rest does not really have the greatest amount of bulk, especially not the Electivire in the back. And so, as soon as our only real bulky Pokemon is kinda gone, we struggle a little bit of with taking hits here. And so, yeah, I can go ahead and go into my Electivire. I can get up to an Ice Punch just to get rid of them before they can do anything. But I have to say, it's not going to be ideal. The cool thing here, though, is that Ice Punch needs only 4 for the second one. Here I tried to catch a move. It kinda did work out, I would assume. But it is still a bit of an awkward one here, as we're gonna try our best to go ahead and get into our Electivire again. We're gonna use a shield here. We have to use a shield. Righteous is coming through. But as you can see here, sadly, the fast move pressure is just a bit too much from the opponent. And this is sadly going to lose us the battle, which is fine. Like, you don't always win all of them, and that's totally okay, and we can move on to the next opponent. Feraligatr. Feraligatr is going to be an interesting matchup here, as our Pokemon itself are all really good against Feraligatr. The entire team beats Feraligatr kinda hard, which is going to be great. And you might think now, oh, what is this really like so important for? The thing is here, I don't care about the secondary matchup now, because I know there's a Feraligatr. I know that both Frenzy Plant as well as Wild Charge are just going to be able to one-shot them. I don't need any damage on them. I just need shields down. And the opponent gives me exactly this. I go for the crunch, I don't get the debuff, but I get shields down. And having shields down is quite important. I could go into the Superior just to take some hits, but I rather decided to go into my Electivire, trying to see what I can do here. Crunch is going to connect now. We're gonna see the Feraligatr swapping in. I can go for the CMP tie. No problem with that at all. Goodbye there. I always win every single CMP tie anyway. And let's see what the opponent gonna try to do next. It is going to be showcasing their final Pokemon. Oh no, it's a Dunsparce. Oh no, there's a Wild Charge coming through. Neutral Wild Charge from an Electivire against a Dunsparce. Oh yeah, putting them basically into the right health. No problem at all. It is crazy. Like, I tell you, it is crazy on how much damage this Pokemon can do here in the current meta. I would really recommend you give it a try. But also, I feel like this Pokemon going to have more play even in like higher up metas as well. So I'm curious on how this is gonna go for it. But yeah, this Pokemon is ridiculous. It's just so much fun to play. I would really recommend you to give this Pokemon a try, and we can move on now to the next opponent. We're going to have the Whimsicott. Whimsicott here is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be a little bit awkward for our lead. We have Aerial Ace, which is super effective, so it's like not the worst matchup either. But they do neutral stab damage while we do resisted fast move pressure, and then have like super effective aerial ace. But you know already, aerial ace is not a great move. Aerial ace is not a great move at all. Even though it got buffed like a few seasons ago, it is still not the best there either. And so, yeah, as you're gonna see, we're gonna have the Augmented coming through against the opponent's Feraligatr, allowing us to align ourselves. We still have a shield advantage, but we have a Clodsire against us, and this is gonna be a bit problematic. Especially if they are running Sludge Bomb here, which you're gonna see, it is going to be Sludge Bomb. This makes it all way worse, because otherwise, if it's Stone Edge, you actually have a very solid matchup with Superior here, which we just don't have at the current time. And we swap out of here, trying to do our best with the Electivire. I tried to get to another Ice Punch against the opponent, but it is not looking good. Sludge Bomb is coming through. They are going to be able to swap out into the Whimsicott, but I think they had some energy, so I go straight for my charge move to knock them out. It is going to be enough to knock them out, giving me some hope, but we are not going to be able to go for this Ice Punch. We needed to get to this Ice Punch in order to win the battle. It was close, but yeah, at the end of the day, I am not going to be able to win this one now. And I was, to be fair, like one fast move away. If the opponent still needed another fast move on the Whimsicott, I would have got a free fast move in. I would have been fine there, but it is what it is. We're not going to be able to win this, and that's something we have to accept. And we can move on to the next opponent. But even out of the two losses that we had here, we saw that there's a lot of potential for this Pokemon. And like the last one there was most likely avoidable as well if I just played a little bit better. But as you're gonna see here, we're gonna have Starmie against us now on the next one. We're gonna go for the Crunch, and I was thinking that they should not have enough energy yet. That, yeah, we are going to be able to get to another Crunch in time before the opponent, but they actually get to Surf here already, which is really awkward. I don't like this at all. This makes it all a little bit more difficult. But at least we're going to be able to go for the Charge Move here, undercharge it, and I can go for the full farm down. The debuff actually hurt me more than it helped me because I got less energy now for my own Drapion. I decided to go for the CMP type because at the end of the day, I just want to get rid of the energy from the opponent while doing the maximum amount of damage here basically. This is easily going to put them into Frenzy Plant range, which is very important, and also maybe even into Ice Punch range. And Ice Punch is going to be needed, as you're going to see here, the Mandibuzz against us in the back here for the opponent. What we have to do is, we are forced to go for the Ice Punch against them, because at this point, my only hope is the Electivire trying to get some damage onto them, but sadly, they decided to actually let the first Ice Punch go through, which is, of course, still doing a ton of damage, but it's not going to do as much damage as a Wild Shot would do. Wild Shot would just one-shot the opponent, and so they can go for the full farm down, allowing them to get a ton of energy here, which is really not ideal. But luckily, what we will see as well very, very shortly is that Aerial Ace is not going to be a two-shot, and that is going to be super important, because now I can get some energy. I'm going to see that the opponent is going to swap here now. I can go for a charge move against the Stunfisk, forcing them to basically go down with that one. And also, we are still going to have the fast move pressure here with the Wine Whip, and we're going to be able to win this final battle, second to last battle actually. Final battle now is going to be Wigglytuff against us. That's going to be a Pokemon that I am actually okay with. We can overfarm by 1 here for Frenzy Plant. That's perfect fast move timing. Again, you kind of want to go always on one turn below the opponent's turn if you go for your own charge move if you didn't know. And so I went for 7 2-turn moves, which gives me 14 turns total there I went for. And the opponent went for 5 3-turn fast moves in Charm, which means we are with 14, 1 below the 15, and we are able to get our move off without giving the opponent a free fast move, being as optimal as possible. But yeah, as you can see, the opponent is going to swap in what's called the Corsola here. Corsola is going to be, I don't actually say a water type Pokemon if you're wondering why I was stuttering there. It's not a water type Pokemon. It was a water type Pokemon before it, vanished, I guess. But as you're gonna see here, we're gonna be able to just align ourselves, which is going to be great. We have some energy still left, we have a little bit of health left, and that's just enough health to get the KO against the Wigglytuff as well, forcing the opponent to be in a position where they definitely don't want to be in, with just one Pokemon remaining, and it's a Starmie that takes super effective fast move pressure from both of our Pokemon, while also we're going to be able to outspeed them with our Electivire. And again, Electivire's main benefit is the speed and the damage, and as you're gonna see here, we can use a shield and we will be able to outspeed them afterward, making this a very good matchup for us. Ice Punch is going to allow us to get the KO against the opponent, and as we will see, we're going to be able to win that final battle. It's going to be a 5-0 with Electivire. This team was awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.